the structure that they made. I'm actually going to tell you the story that they told me about it in just a few minutes. But I want you to look at simple symmetry, which is one of those mathematical things. The symmetry, you have the mirrored symmetry, the radial. Mirrored symmetry is where you can look across, like these are the exact same blocks going across. The radial symmetry, see how the blocks are, you're starting to see these patterns, and they're black. So let's go ahead and go through a few of these. Now, number 8 was one that none of you had. What I want you to do, though, is just look at this number 8. It's a rather easy one. Look at your score sheet and tell me what you guys as a group think you would score this structure.
Vertical arrow arrangement? 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a definite 2, the vertical linear arrangement. So it's a single stack going up. So the recorder on the sheet under number 8, if you would write down for me that you would score that a 2 because the child stacked the blocks vertically. That's just the person that she's writing it for you.
Oh, okay.
She's your recorder. I'm not going to put these out. Okay. How about 21? Do one of you have 21? Okay. All right. Well, let's look at 21. What do you think?
Maybe 5. What did that paper say?
Jordan. That's just the teacher actually wrote that. The child didn't. Child didn't write it.
I don't know.
I would say, I would actually probably give that a 1 because there really isn't a lot of actual construction. There's a start of a ramp, which is like a half of a bridge, but it's not really a bridge. There might have been some dramatic play going on behind this, but as a pure construction, something that the child made, I would give it a 1. I don't really see they didn't do an enclosure.
It looks like they
didn't do a stack.
Disrupted where they had to be pulled away from their building.
Right. And it could, like I said, it could be very representational. Like these could be the animals, and those could be the animals. A lot of these, we were talking about that at this table. A lot of these, when you're actually scoring the constructions of your children in care, you will know what was going on around this, so it will be much easier for you to score.
Yeah, a 1.
I don't know what happened. Let me see. It looks like some of the. It looks like maybe some of the pictures got. Yeah, some of these pictures got working in. Okay, that's what happened. All right. So number 5. What would you give number 5?
12.
I would have to agree with 6. 6. You see a little. These are tall, but they're not actual stacks. So really, the most of the construction may be a little bit starting at 2, where they're making the vertical stacking, but most of the construction is the bridging.
Oh.
Yes.
I thought we did number 5 already.
Did we do number? I think we did number 8.
It was 8 that we did.
There were some of the pictures were hidden. I'm sorry. I just realized that they were. That was number 8.
No, it was number 8.
It was my. No, it's okay.
You sure?
Here. Sure. No, that's okay. That's all right. It was my fault because you can kind of see for some reason these weren't showing up on the PowerPoint, so I skipped over them at first and then I realized that something was missing. So, number 8, let's help her out. Number 5, we decided was a 6
Closed vertical space.
because it was in closed vertical space.
Closed vertical.
And number
20.
5,
That was
I mean, number 5 we just did, it was a 6.
Number
Number 8 was
a 2.
a 2, because it was the stacks, right? It was
Right.
the vertical,
Vertical and vertical.
vertical stacking.
And then we did.
And then 21, we did 21, which we scored at a 1, no construction. Right.
Okay.
So that's 20 is the.
Now we're going to go back over the slides that we skipped. It might have been when I was printing out your handout. For some reason, you can see how these slides were hidden. Okay. We did 8. How about 12?
We need to do 12.
We need to do 12. So take a real careful look at 12. We have a little bit of an enclosure here. We got a floor going on with a little bit of an enclosure there. Just kind of look through and see what.
Would that be 14? There's separate objects? There's 2 different buildings?
Yeah.
Or 13? Oh? That looks like it's 2 separate things. But yet they're named.
I would say, I would
What are-
almost go as far as to say it was a 15.
15?
Because they have the interior space, they have exterior space, and if you look real close, there's interior space. Did someone say, someone was talking about 16? Interior objects are placed on the exterior. Okay, that would be, well, possibly. Let's see what he says here. This is where you go
In the mall. This
in
is
the
where you
mall.
watch the
This
movie.
is where you watch the movie. The interior, moving the interior to the exterior would be like in the example that they have in here, under 16, see how it's a bed, where the bed usually would go inside? It's very possible, this is one of the ones you'd have to be there. If one of these things that were on the outside, if they said it represented something, like if they said, this is the movie screen, then that would be 16. We're not really sure, so I'm gonna let you guys, let's just vote, 15 or 16. Okay, is everybody in favor, right, 15? Okay, just for your paperwork. When you're scoring your child, you can score it any way you want.
Yeah. And there's space.
Okay, now we have 32 should, or no, 34 is our next, right? There we go. Okay, 34.
We have
This is
34.
one. Okay, they had 34, so what did you guys decide?
We decided that it was a 7.
A 7.
34. I say it's a 7.
And then I would say it's definitely a 7. The reason why I say that, and it's hard to kind of see, but there is a block back there, so you have a definite enclosure. You have definitely four sides there.
That's what we were.
Okay, 42. What did you guys decide on 42?
objects that are named, there's two different buildings, one's a house and then one's the office.
And I would agree with that, because when you go up to 15, it talks about an interior space being represented. And as you can see, this is a pretty solid formation. They're not representing anything on the inside. So I would definitely agree that that is a important. All right, and number 49.
Because it has the interior space landmarks. No.
So are you saying that if we see they're not progressing to the next stage, that we need to intervene, or we
Part
need to?
part of it really is. Now, when we get into the end part, we'll talk about that facilitating play, like where a lot of times we think a handout approach is best, but we really want to get in there and maybe not necessarily show them how to build the next structure, but ask them questions like, if you see an enclosure, saying, well, who would live in that space? How did the people get into the house? If that's a movie theater, what would go inside? What would go outside? And asking them those questions that kind of lead them up to the next thing. What happens, and they showed in there, like at the end, the combination. What happens with that stacking in rows is they do start to accidentally make those bridging. So you take that as the teachable moment, and you go, oh my goodness, you made a bridge. Like the bridge that we take to go over to the beach. And maybe we could get some boats to put in here. And so you're encouraging that play. It's not so much that we want to push children through these steps, but we want to see, because if I'm making one structure in September, I should be elaborating on it by December. And so if you're not seeing that, that tells you either that I need a little bit of scaffolding, or maybe I'm just not choosing the block area, which was the issue that we had with the girls, and that's why we put the Barbies in there. We needed something to attract them. It might be a challenge that you do. So you're doing the farm. We didn't answer which one this was. I think 17 too. I think 17 too. And you can see here, remember during that representational stage, we're not going to give them the doll furniture, and you see what they did. They made some couches. They started to make their own type. So what are 6 things that a teacher needs to know to have a successful block play area? There's lots of them tonight. Okay, stages. Need to know block stages. What's something else?
Names of the blocks.
Block
The
names.
names of the
Good.
blocks.
What else?
Props.
Props. What kinds of props? Going along with props, what we just talked about. Setting up the environment.
Setting the environment. Was that was just props?
Yeah. So, props and environment are really two different things. How about skills? What kind of skills does a teacher need to have to support block playing? Okay. Scaffolding. Creativity. What was the activity that we did with the pictures?
On the different stages.
Okay.
of
Need to know how to match the stages with scores. A teacher really needs to know all those things we want the children to know, right? How to make a bridge, why you can't put a big block on top of a little tiny block and make it stay when you're building. Right, engineering, that sounds fancy. How about attitude?
Positive and exciting.
Okay, positive attitude, patient,
Enthusiastic.
supportive, enthusiastic. Yeah. See, if I want children to be explorers and never-ending learners, then I have to be an explorer and a never-ending learner. So it's tough. It's really tough when children are trying to do things in the block area. Sometimes they try something and it doesn't work, and they try something like Parker was doing when he was trying to make that bridge. That fortitude. We want to show them fortitude, that when the going gets tough, we keep going and we keep trying and trying and trying. I think, because some of those will go on here. Yeah, I'll transfer that over. Do you mind just put your name on it, just down where it says notes, and then pass around, we'll have everybody put their name on there. Okay, so here are some of the specific ways the teacher can scaffold learning. We get down on the floor with the child who's frustrated over a problem. We offer support in solving the problem. This is that balancing act. We don't want to absolutely always give them the answer, but we also don't want them to go past that point of frustration where they're not going to try again. So let's see if we can find another way to make these blocks stand up. We help the children solve the problem. Do you think another block shape might work there? If they're trying to put the column on top of something and it keeps rolling, just suggesting that they try another shape, not telling them what shape to use. Display and discuss pictures of construction to inspire a child who's built the same thing over and over for a week. That repetition is good, but we don't want them to get stuck in a rut. Ask questions about the type of structure and what might belong there. So, who can live in that building? How do the people get to the building? How do the people get inside the building? Because a lot of times what happens, they make those enclosures and they build them up, but they forget that you need doors. How do the people see?